Hi guys, this is Rick from Rick's Bricks here with my second video in my new vlog series where I give some tips to other sellers with all my experience over 17 years selling on BrickLink and Brick Owl. As promised, today I would like to give you a full tour of my store. To start off with, let's take a look at how I store my items for sale. As you can see, I've kind of got 3 aisles here, 4 really if you count both sides of the inside aisle. When I first started, I had a small room in the basement of my house back in 2006. Kind of went through many iterations of cabinets and layouts, and eventually moved into a larger spot in my basement. Then moved to a slightly larger home with a bigger basement, and was able to come up kind of like with this technique of hanging the cabinets too high, not too low, so I got to bend down so far and not so high that I can't reach the top shelves. About in 2015, I had moved my store out to rented some space from a friend's business and had about 2,500 square feet of mezzanine space. And that's when I first came up with a concept of creating individual aisles like this, two-sided. And at the time, I think I had 9 aisles total, potentially 10. I had aisles 1 through 4, I believe, with used parts, and aisles 5 through 10 with new parts. I did that for about a year and a half, and wasn't working out as the way I'd planned, so I brought everything back into my house. At the time, I had a fairly large basement from a large ranch that we owned, and I had to kind of reconfigure things out. They didn't work out as well because of the labeling of the cabinets. At the time I had it at this guy's business, I was able to, the labels kind of indicated which aisle you were in, and each aisle was separate. But when I moved it to my home in my basement of my home at the time, I had less space, and so I had to kind of reconfigure it, and so it didn't make as much sense, but it still works out that you kind of know once you learn where one aisle starts and the other aisle ends. I've only been in this basement here for about 5 months. It's the basement of a ranch condo we just moved into, and even less space, so I don't have as much space between the aisles, and I've really only got the 4 aisles, if you will. So let me show you how I do my labeling, which I think is a bit unique. So for my labels, I use the first 2 digits, and that's the aisle. So this, right now, this is just this 4 cabinets. I'll show you how all the aisles go. The next 2 characters are the columns. So this column is all AA. And then the next 2 digits are the row that you're looking at. So the case of row 4 here, it starts all the way down at AA01, and it goes up to AA12 in here, and then I just added a 14th. I'll probably be a 13th in here once I get some more wood to put in here. But the row 4 was something I actually added after I moved it back to my house. Originally, row 4, aisle 4. Aisle 4 was originally part of the used parts that I was selling. When I brought it home, I'm not sure if I mentioned that when I got out of that guy's business and thought renting space there and brought it all home, I sold off all my used parts and decided to, from that point forward, just starting selling new parts. So this set of 6 cabinets here were added later, and because I had already started with 5 and had some room right before my aisle 5, it kind of became aisle 4 of my new part. So it's only aisle 4 only goes up through AL. Aisle 5 starts at AA, goes up all the way, switches over after AZ to BA, and then eventually it becomes CA. It doesn't actually go up to Z, but it's just a good place to change. And then aisle 5 goes all the way over around here and ends here with CZ. It's mostly the small drawers. I had some of these left over from back when I first started using stack-ons. I don't know why I bought these small ones. I think it was harder to find the larger ones. So I just threw them in here to kind of expand aisle 5. And then these Sterilite cabinets I actually got from my father when I cleaned out his garage one day and he didn't want them anymore. And so I thought I'd use them. I don't like them that much, but they work out fairly well. Then we start with aisle 6 AA. Go down to here, the end of the small drawers, and that's all the way up to BD. And we start aisle 7. And again, this used to actually be a separate aisle, but now it's the aisles change over within my aisles. But you get to know where the aisles start very quickly once you've got them set and you've used it for a long time. So these are the medium-sized drawers, stack-on cabinets, all the way up to AO. Aisle 7 continues around the other side for one set of cabinets, and then it starts with aisle A. And again, they're all the same medium-sized drawer stack-ons. I later had added these 4 that I kept from early days and added them to it, so it goes all through aisle 8 to the BA. And again, starts with 1, goes up to 12. The other ones, if you know, it's going up to 20 because there's just more drawers. Then I have aisle 9, which is all these 3-drawer Sterilite that I like to use for larger parts. Usually don't go much bigger than that, other than these bins when I have some overflow. And then later when I added, or when I started selling minifigs, started doing minifigs like this, switched over to just putting on these containers on top. And so I just added one above the aisle 9. So aisle 9 goes all the way down. Actually goes to the end there, but I have the ability to expand onto these. I just bought, because when I moved them here, I couldn't stack them as high, so I split it from here to here, and eventually that'll all be combined and renumbered, so it just flows through AK to AL, and whatever will move back there, and then this will be restickered. But anyways, it goes all the way down to right now 09 AS. And just want to give you some advice on labeling. One of the things that I don't recommend, and I learned this mistake early on, was that you notice there's nothing to indicate on here what's in the drawer, and that's for a reason. I can change out anything in there, and the tie between the drawer and what's in it is recorded in the remarks column or field in BrickLink, and then I forget what field in Brick Owl as well, and that is how the two are tied together. You never want to add a label or put anything on a label to indicate what's in there, because odds are, as time goes by, you get more of those, less of those. You combine other things with them, and it limits what you can put in there. An inventory location should just be a generic inventory location, and nothing on the drawer that says what you have in there. The other thing I wouldn't recommend is trying to say, I'm going to do all bricks here, all slopes in that set of drawers, all tiles here. Don't limit yourself to what goes where, because as you'll find out, as you grow and as you add more parts, you'll start to need to add more and more cabinets, number one, more storage locations, and then you'll also really need the freedom to put anything where you want to put them. Obviously, the size of the drawer will kind of dictate where things go, and it makes it nicer for parting out. Sometimes if you've got things in a nice orderly fashion, but for the most part, like I say, don't fall into that trap. The other thing I recommend, if you use some kind of scheme like this that's meaningful for the location, or if you simply go with drawers in a sequential numbering scheme, think about first of all how many drawers you may end up having in your store. If you think you'll have from 1 to say 1,000 stores, then make sure you start ordering your drawers with 0001 and all the way up to 9999 instead of using 1, 2, 3, 4, because what you'll find is that doesn't sort, and that's because the remarks field is an alphanumeric field, and if you put numerics in it, you got to use up all significant digits. So I don't know if anybody's got more than 9,999 locations, but if you do, then you want to go with 5 digits. But always start out with 0001, 002, up and so forth. And again, that's so that when you sort or sequence your orders and part out whatever you're going to do, it goes in the flow of your store, your warehouse. So mine goes down this aisle, back down this aisle, and then wraps around down this aisle and back down this aisle. So, okay. So I currently have about 30,000 parts in stock in about, I think it's 15,000 lots and approximately 2,900 inventory locations. I've been trying to come up with more storage all the time, and recently added these quart containers up on top. I probably might go 1 row higher than that. I needed some more medium-sized drawers, and then real recently added these 2 rows. Wanted to get these same quart size, but ended up getting these are really cheap on I forget, at Walmart or whatever. But plan on having 2 rows of that. May put 1 row on top of this one on both sides. For the most part, said had used the stack-ons. These I got from Walmart. Some of those recent drawer ones purchased. I kind of like them. The problem is I really don't have any room for any more. So I think that once I finish expanding to these tops, that's going to be about it, unless I can think of other creative ways to store things. I don't want to move into any other rooms because it works out really good here. The other thing I want to stress is is lighting. To have really good lighting. It's probably overkill in these aisles, but when you're picking orders, you're trying to discern between colors that are close, and my eyes aren't so good anymore. At my old age, I wear reading glasses most of the time down here, and it's just important for me to have good lighting. So continuing around the other side here, I want to mention my handy dandy cart that I built years ago. It's probably overkill, a 2x4s, but it's worked for me really well over the years. I haven't really changed much on it, other than put this top on it, because I really never built a top for it. It was just a quick and easy thing to do. I was always going to replace it, but never have. I used to have a laptop on here with a extended battery. In the last year or so, I switched over to using these Acer touchscreen Chromebooks. They really work really well. and they have a really long battery life. I have one here, and I've got one over. This is my part out area. I won't talk a lot about it now because I'm going to be doing a separate video on parting out, on how I part out sets. But so I have another one of the Acer laptops here. If you don't have that luxury, I mean, I just didn't want to have to constantly move one back and forth from here to the cart. So the only other computer I have is over here. This is basically my shipping area where I ship out orders, and I have just a Windows laptop here and a inkjet printer. I use 2-up labels, 2 per sheet. I use several different bubble mailers mostly. I go to priority mail boxes I get right from the USPS. So I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions, please post them. I think within the next couple of days, I'll try to get another video out of showing you how I pick and ship some orders. Until then, thanks for watching.